Disruption may be the buzzword today, but that's exactly what Toyota managed with the first generation Prius nearly 2 decades ago. The world's first mass-produced petrol-electric hybrid got other car makers to stand up and take notice. But as green and well-meaning as the Prius has always been, the name has also been synonymous with a dull driving experience and nondescript styling. And that is where the new Prius comes in. For the very first time, Toyota has used the phrase fun to drive to describe the Prius. And, well, as for styling, bland is certainly not an adjective you'd use. Oh, you will look at this Prius, alright. Amused and bewildered perhaps, but you will look at it. Almost concept car-like in appearance, the latest Prius is a radical mix of sharp surfaces and soft elements. Take the Prius's droopy nose. It's characterized by a sharp V on the bonnet and these really complex multi-edge headlights. The wide air dam and deep enclosures for the fog lamps add their own drama to the look. There is a link to older Priuses in this car's fastback silhouette, but Toyota's designers have clearly not held back with styling as they did in the past. The prominent ridge that originates at the rear doors continues rearwards and wraps around the car's tail, splitting the rear windshield in the process. And the large protruding and vertically oriented taillights are a talking point in their own right. Those 15-inch wheels though, they just look outright mundane. Unique as the entire look is, it's still about form following function here. And the function is to cut through the air as cleanly as possible. The Prius is among the slipperiest cars in production today with a supercar rivaling 0.24 coefficient of drag. Well, that's the most we've spoken about a Prius's look, so what about the way it drives? Well, there is good news here. The Prius uses Toyota's hybrid energy drive that in this application comprises a 98 HP 1.8 litre petrol engine that runs the efficient Atkinson cycle and a 53 kilowatt or 72 HP electric motor. The electric motor draws power from a 6.5 ampere-hour nickel metal hydride battery. Do note, Indian Priuses do without the superior lithium-ion battery on Priuses sold abroad. The combined output of the hybrid system is 122 HP. Getting going in a Prius is an occasion, or actually a non-occasion. Provided there's enough juice in the battery, the Prius will come to life in full electric mode, giving you the opportunity to make a noise and emission-free getaway. With enough juice in its batteries, the Prius can run in pure electric mode at up to 50 kph, which if you think about it is quite a lot given our city conditions. At those speeds, noise levels are really low and noise insulation in general is very impressive. So it's almost like driving in your private movable island in the hustle and bustle of city traffic. You'll have to be very gentle with throttle inputs to keep the car going in electric mode. Get it even slightly excited, and there we go, the combustion engine kicks in to supplement the electric motor. Even so, the low noise levels continue to impress. When the engine does kick in, again, it's not very loud, and it's quite a nice car to be in. Performance isn't bad so long as you never lose sight of the fact that you are driving an efficiency-oriented hybrid and are realistic about its abilities. It's all nice and smooth going in pure electric mode, and when the engine does kick in, you can feel the additional power at your disposal. Now this is not a fast car per se, but acceleration is still brisk. The thing is, you just can't extend this car or drive it too hard. The CVT gearbox's rubber band effect comes into the picture, and engine noise levels rise higher than a proportional increase in speed. Still, the CVT gearbox doesn't spoil the experience as it does on, say, a Camry hybrid. But outright performance is anyway not the focus here. Fuel economy is. The Prius boasts an ARAI tested fuel economy of 26.27 kpl. However, the car's onboard computer showed a figure closer to 18 kpl on our drive that included city streets and smooth-moving highway stretches. But this generation of Prius is more than just about fuel economy. Now, Priuses of the past were notoriously boring to drive, but this one takes a big step up in the right direction. I'm still talking relative to older Priuses, but even by mainstream car standards, this is a fairly nice car to drive. The steering is more connected, it's more direct, and you can actually have some fun behind the wheel. There's even reasonable grip in the corners. There is lots of roll, but this is a Prius you can have some fun behind the wheel of. And that's good news for us. You see, the new Prius is the first car to be built on Toyota's new modular TNGA platform that will eventually underpin everything from compact sports cars to SUVs. And if the Prius's generally impressive driving manners are a sign of things to come, there's lots to expect from future Toyotas. Where the new Prius is also a big improvement over the old car is in ride comfort. This is the first Prius to use double wishbones at the rear in place of the former torsion beam setup. And the benefits are clear. The suspension does a really good job in dealing with our bumps and potholes, and the good thing is that noise levels continue to stay low because the suspension too works quietly. Finally, let's get to the interiors. Well, as with the exterior, Toyota has gone for more emotive forms in the Prius's cabin. The multi-layer dashboard is a break from the norm. Sitting high up on the dash center, the centrally mounted instrumentation screen is your biggest pointer of sitting in a car with a difference. The screen displays a whole host of information including state of charge, instantaneous economy and eco tips for most efficient driving. The centerpiece, however, is the Prius's 7-inch touchscreen that sits on a floating console. The screen is pleasant to use, but sadly there's no satellite navigation, Android Auto or even Apple CarPlay. But a cool feature on the screen is a graphic that shows the source of propulsion in real time. Drivers also get a heads-up display that is standard on the car. Heated front seats, a wireless charging bay for key-enabled smartphones, and a reverse camera are other features on board. Leather seats are also standard, and what comes as a pleasant surprise is just how comfortable the seats are. Cushioning is supple with the shapely front seats offering good comfort even over long drives. The rear seats are more than pleasant too, with a fair amount of space on offer. If there's something to bring up, it's that stubby dash-mounted gear lever. The joystick-like selector takes time getting used to. But let's just zoom out and recap. The Prius is pleasant to drive and quite nice to be driven in. So who is the new Toyota Prius intended for? Well, it's clearly the sort of buyer who thinks the Kia hybrid and the Accord hybrid are a touch too mainstream. These are buyers who really want the world to know that they are doing their bit for the environment. The catch is, the Prius isn't cheap. In fact, at 39 lakh rupees ex-showroom Delhi, this is an expensive proposition. So, at the end of the day, the Prius is a car for those with a deep will to save the planet and deeper pockets.